And despite what some would have you think, we are not so different from our neighbors. When a house is on fire, we don't ask about the homeowner's race or religion. We don't wonder who their partner is or how they voted. No, we just try to do the best we can to save them. And if the place happens to belong to a childless cat lady, we try to get that cat out too. And together, let's all choose Kamala Harris!
When a billionaire media queen meets a senator with a penchant for catty remarks, things get spicy. No, this isn't a Real Housewives reunion. It's Oprah versus JD Vance. Grab your herbal tea and your emotional support dog because this one's a ride. So JD Vance went on a rant calling childless women cat ladies who can't be trusted. Yeah, apparently, if you don't have kids, JD thinks you shouldn't be allowed near politics. Or even society, let's pause. Let that marinate. This man really woke up, chose misogyny, and thought Oprah Winfrey would sip her chai and nod politely?
So why was it so important to risk that reputation, all of that trust, all of that capital for this moment?
Because I really care about this country. And there couldn't have been a life like mine, a career like mine, a success like mine, without a country like America. I feel that a lot of things are on the line, a lot of things are at stake, and if ever you're going to stand up and fight for your country and fight for freedoms that, you know, I don't need the right to abortion, but I believe that the right to control your body and be able to control what happens to you, particularly as a woman person in this country, is essential. It's fundamental.
Now here's the thing about Oprah. She's not just famous, rich, or the reason your mom knows what a vision board is. Oprah is a woman's woman. She's the original girl's girl before TikTok turned it into a trend. She's been lifting up women before JD Vance figured out how to spell feminism. Oprah didn't just build a media empire, she built a sisterhood. She gave us Toni Morrison. She gave us Michelle Obama. She gave us Dr. Phil. Okay, not every serve is an ace, but she showed the world that women's voices matter. Even if JD Vance is somewhere in Ohio trying to rewind history like it's on VHS. And that's why Oprah can't stand JD Vance. Because he's the human embodiment of everything she's been fighting against her whole career. Condescension in khakis.
It's not, what is it going to cost me other than knowing that I had to do whatever I could to speak up?
Now, let's be real. Oprah didn't want to get involved. She was probably somewhere in her silk pajamas, drinking tea made from leaves hand-plucked by monks on a remote mountain in Bhutan, surrounded by dogs with better skincare than JD Vance. But let's be honest, Oprah wouldn't even be here if it weren't for Kamala Harris.
And ultimately, the question before us is, what kind of country do we want to live in? And the beauty of a democracy, as long as we can hold on to it, the beauty of a democracy is each of us has the power. Each of us has the power to answer that question.
Now that's how you know Kamala's done playing. When she brings out the democracy line, it means someone just embarrassed themselves on C-SPAN, and she's spiritually obliged to humble them. Everyone in a democracy has the power, but maybe JD, maybe you should just use yours to read a book, or pet a cat, or reflect quietly for a long time. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment, or Oprah will come at you next.
It seems to us that something happened to you the moment President Biden, stepped aside and withdrew his candidacy, that a veil or something dropped, and you just stepped into your power. I mean, literally, looking at you at a speech like the week before, which was a great speech, very nice, and then the next week I saw you walking in the thing. What happened to you?
you know, we each have those moments in our lives where it's time to step up.
Time to step up.
Time to step up, you know?
Now the question is, why did Oprah Winfrey come down from her billionaire throne to get involved with politics? You see, something strange happened just hours before Oprah publicly endorsed Kamala Harris. The birds stopped chirping. The air felt different. Her assistant was seen walking out of her office carrying a briefcase and a contract. Yes, folks, Oprah got paid $1.5 million to endorse Kamala Harris, and honestly, she delivered like Amazon Prime on caffeine.
Oprah Winfrey was paid to endorse Kamala Harris, a report has revealed. The Washington Examiner found the Harris campaign paid $1.5 million to Miss Winfrey's Harpo Productions on October 15. The payment came after the talk show star hosted a town hall for Harris in September. Miss Winfrey also appeared at the final Democrat rally a day before the US election.
Because when you want an endorsement that shakes the earth, you don't call an influencer, you call Oprah. And you come with a wire transfer ready. Kamala didn't even blink. She just opened her iPad, typed Oprah Winfrey, Political Demolition Services, LLC, and hit send. And just like that, the spiritual universe shifted. This wasn't just a campaign move. This was premium branding. Other candidates, they got newspaper endorsements. Kamala was probably thinking, I didn't just want support, I wanted supernatural elevation. That's how Kamala does business. No fuss, no hesitation. Just her, a campaign budget, and the Oprah hotline on speed dial.
I wish Oprah all the best, and I wish, more importantly, that Oprah had talked about what Kamala Harris has done instead of what Kamala Harris will do. My criticism of yesterday is the entire theme of this was about what Kamala Harris, her vision, what she will do when she's been the sitting vice president for 3.5 years. These people have got to stop talking about Kamala Harris as if she hasn't been the vice president for 3.5 years. So I'm going to keep it, whether it's Oprah or anybody else, I'm going to keep it focused on policy. You know, I try not to take this stuff too seriously, Bill. When you enter the public arena, people are going to attack you.
Now, after Oprah Winfrey publicly endorsed Kamala Harris and single-handedly shifted the national mood with a few elegant sentences and a dramatic pause, JD Vance tried to recover. And not so gracefully. He says he has nothing against her. Interesting, considering she just deep-fried your worldview and served it on a decorative plate. Suddenly he wants policy points from Oprah, as if she showed up to the conversation holding a 3-ring binder and a graphing calculator. Asking her to explain Kamala's entire platform mid-endorsement is like showing up to a Beyoncé concert and asking for a town hall. And let's not forget what started all of this. JD Vance made it crystal clear. He doesn't trust women who don't have kids. You know, because if you don't have a stroller and some crushed up Cheerios in your purse, you shouldn't be allowed near the policy.
Governors, Taylor Swift fans, and if you add to that some facts, as of 2020, this is the census, 46% of American women did not have children. In a Pew survey just published today of adults under 50 who don't have kids, 47% say they are unlikely to ever have them.
Yeah, she could probably just let it roll, but this just goes to show how bad JD Vance is at this. Like we thought we saw it all, but it's going to keep coming. I'm telling you, I ran against them. It's going to keep coming.
So here's the plot twist, JD. A lot of women don't have children these days. Not because they're evil. Not because they're knitting voodoo dolls of the nuclear family. And not because they're building shrines to their cats in rent-controlled apartments. It's because life is expensive and the planet is on fire. Also, they're too busy dragging men like you on Twitter. So when JD Vance says childless women can't lead, he's not making a bold moral statement. He's just letting us know he hasn't spoken to a woman born after 1975.
In the article, Oprah, who at 14 gave birth to a baby who only lived for a few weeks, says, if I had kids, my kids would hate me because something would have had to suffer and it would have probably been them. Oprah also says while her best friend had childhood dreams of having kids, I was having daydreams about how I could be Martin Luther King.
JD Vance tried to tell millions of powerful, successful women that tier uterus status defines their worth. Oprah Winfrey, who is a woman without children of her own, wasn't taking this disrespect. And Kamala, she didn't even have to break a sweat. She just Venmo'd Oprah and let the endorsement do the damage. If you come for women without children, expect to be clapped back into the last century. And if you ever find yourself thinking, should I publicly insult Oprah Winfrey? The answer is always eternally, universally going to be no. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to watch our other video also on cat ladies, except it's the one and only Rachel Green. Oops, I meant Jennifer Aniston.